sit quietly for a moment and listen not just with your ears but with the space inside you where truth echoes without sound. There is a story whispered beneath the noise of the world, a script not written in ink, but in patterns, in cycles, in the silent turning of time itself. The year 2026 is not merely a number. It is a doorway. And like all doorways, it asks a question before it opens. Are you aware, or are you asleep? Long before calendars were carved and clocks were invented, humans looked upward. Not to escape the earth, but to understand it. The stars became mirrors. The sky became a language. And within that language, symbols were formed, what you now call the Zodiac. But these symbols were never meant to trap you in fate. They were meant to awaken you to it. The forgotten script of 2026 is not about prediction. It is about recognition. Many will search for answers outside reading charts, chasing signs, asking, is my zodiac on the list? But the deeper question is this: what list are you trying to belong to? The universe does not keep lists the way the mind does. It does not judge, reward, or punish in the way you imagine. It simply reflects. If you are restless, the stars seem chaotic. If you are clear, the same stars reveal order. In 2026, certain energies will rise, yes. Some will feel challenged, others uplifted. But this is not because the stars have chosen favorites. It is because each soul is meeting the exact lesson it has long avoided. For some, this year will feel like loss. But what is loss except the removal of illusion? For others, it will feel like gain. But what is gain except the recognition of what was already within? You ask if your zodiac is on the list. I ask, are you ready to see yourself without the mask of your zodiac? Because the true script is not written in Aries or Taurus, in Leo or Pisces. It is written in your awareness. A person asleep in a lucky sign will suffer. A person awake in a difficult sign will rise. Do you see the difference? The forgotten truth is simple, yet the mind resists it. Nothing outside you has the power to define your path unless you hand it that power. The stars may suggest, time may invite, but only you can respond. In the stillness beyond fear and desire, there is a place where no horoscope can reach you. In that place, there is no good year or bad year. There is only growth or the refusal to grow. 2026 will reveal what you have been carrying, not to burden you, but to free you. The question is not whether your zodiac is chosen. The question is whether you are willing to choose awareness over habit, presence over prediction, truth over comfort. When you stop asking, what will happen to me? You begin to see, what am I creating right now? And in that moment, the script changes. Not because the stars moved, but because you did. So do not search for your name on a hidden list. Instead, become the one who no longer needs a list. Watch your thoughts. Observe your reactions. Let go of what is not real. And when 2026 arrives, it will not arrive as a mystery to fear, but as a mirror you are finally ready to face. 2026 is a moment of awakening. Not prediction. The year is not about fixed destiny or future telling. It represents a turning point where hidden truths and inner patterns begin to surface. There is a quiet misunderstanding that lives in the human mind, the belief that time brings events, that years carry destinies, and that certain moments are pre-written chapters you must simply endure. When people hear of a year like 2026 being significant, they immediately turn outward, as if something external is about to arrive and change everything. But what is truly being pointed to is not an event, but a shift in awareness. Awakening is not something that suddenly appears in a specific year. It has always been available, like the sky that remains unchanged behind passing clouds. What changes is not the sky, but your willingness to look up. In this way, 2026 is not powerful on its own. It becomes powerful only for those who are ready to see what they have long avoided. Most people move through life in patterns. They repeat the same thoughts, react in the same ways, chase the same desires, and fear the same outcomes. Over time, these patterns become invisible. They feel like identity. A person no longer says, this is my habit, but instead, this is who I am. And this is where sleep begins, not the sleep of the body, but the sleep of awareness. A year of awakening does not bring comfort first, it brings clarity. And clarity can feel uncomfortable because it removes the illusions that once made life easier to accept. You may begin to notice how often you act out of fear rather than truth. You may see how much of your life has been shaped by the need for approval, control, or security. This is not punishment. It is the beginning of freedom. When awareness starts to grow even slightly, everything begins to look different. Situations that once triggered anger now reveal their deeper cause. Desires that once felt urgent begin to lose their grip. You start to witness your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. This shift is subtle, but it is powerful. It is like stepping out of a fast-moving river and realizing you were being carried all along. In a time like 2026, this inner shift becomes more noticeable because the world itself seems to move faster. Changes appear more intense, emotions more heightened, and uncertainties more visible. But this intensity is not there to harm you. It is there to wake you up. It is a mirror reflecting what has always been within, now made impossible to ignore. The question then is not whether something important will happen in that year. The question is whether you will remain asleep in your patterns or begin to observe them. Awakening does not require special knowledge, rituals, or belief systems. It begins with a simple act: paying attention. When you pay attention to your thoughts without immediately believing them, a space opens. In that space, you are no longer trapped. You are no longer reacting automatically. You begin to choose. And in choosing, you begin to change the direction of your life, not by force, but by understanding. So when people speak of 2026 as a turning point, they are pointing toward this possibility. Not a dramatic event in the outer world, but a quiet revolution within, a moment where you can finally see clearly. A moment where you stop waiting for life to happen to you and begin to understand how it has always been moving through you. And once you see this, even for a moment, you cannot fully return to sleep. Zodiac signs reflect. They do not control. Your zodiac is not deciding your fate, it simply mirrors your inner state. Awareness matters more than astrological labels. Your zodiac sign, the symbol you may have memorized since childhood, is often treated as though it holds the key to your destiny. People read horoscopes, compare charts, and anxiously ask, "Is my zodiac on the list?" as if some cosmic authority has decided their fortune. But the truth is far more subtle, far more profound. The zodiac does not control you, it reflects you. It is not a cage, but a mirror. What you see in its patterns is only meaningful if you are willing to look inward, to see the state of your own consciousness without judgment. Each sign has qualities, tendencies, and archetypes, but these are not chains binding you to a pre-written fate. They are instead tools for recognition. When Aries seems impulsive, it is not that Aries must act without thinking, it is that the energy of courage and initiative is naturally strong, waiting to be observed and directed. When Pisces seems dreamy, it is not that Pisces is destined to float aimlessly, it is a reflection of a mind attuned to imagination and intuition. The stars do not dictate behavior, they illuminate the tendencies already present. In this way, the zodiac is like water. It can reflect the sky, but it cannot dictate the wind. Many people fail to recognize this distinction, and so they allow their zodiac to define them rather than guide them. They become trapped in stories of who they are supposed to be. A Leo may feel compelled to always shine, fearing weakness. A Capricorn may believe it must bear burdens endlessly. And yet these are not mandates from the cosmos. They are projections of the mind taking symbols literally. The real power lies in awareness. When you understand the tendencies, you can act consciously. You can choose whether impulsiveness is destructive or courageous, whether discipline becomes rigidity or clarity. The forgotten script of 2026 reminds us that this reflection matters more than labels. Certain energies will sweep across the year, yes, but no zodiac sign is favored or cursed. Each soul encounters what it needs to face. A person asleep in the comfort of my zodiac predicts good fortune will remain unaware, blind to subtle lessons. A person awake to the reflection in the zodiac will use it as a guide to see where they are resisting, where they are clinging, and where they are capable of transformation. In this reflection, you are called to responsibility. The stars may reveal tendencies, but only you can choose your response. Anger, fear, hesitation, or clarity all arise within you first. The zodiac, like a mirror, only shows what is already there. If the mirror shows darkness, it is not a condemnation, it is an opportunity to clean your reflection, to understand, and to act with consciousness. Ultimately, the zodiac is not a list of favorites or a conveyor belt of destiny. It is an invitation to pause, observe, and awaken, to notice patterns, not obey them, to see tendencies, not mistakes, to recognize that the power lies not in a sign but in your attention. And in 2026, this lesson becomes impossible to ignore. Those who see it will step into their lives with clarity, knowing that the true stars they follow are within themselves. External answers distract from inner truth. Searching for signs, lists, or predictions outside keeps you disconnected from the real source of guidance within yourself. Many people spend their lives searching outward for answers, believing that guidance exists somewhere beyond themselves. They consult horoscopes, charts, lists, and signs, hoping that the universe has pre-written instructions they can follow to avoid mistakes or gain favor. But this outward search, though understandable, often leads to distraction rather than clarity. The true answers are not found in external symbols or messages, they are found in the quiet observation of one's own mind and heart. The external world with its lists and predictions is only a reflection of inner reality, not a source of it. When a person constantly seeks validation from outside, they hand over their power. They allow events, words, or even celestial alignments to determine their emotional state. They read that their zodiac is unlucky this year and feel anxiety or dread, or they hear that their sign is favored and grow complacent. Yet the universe does not operate with favoritism or punishment, it simply reflects the patterns already present in the observer. By looking outward first, one misses the opportunity to see what is truly happening within. Awareness requires turning the gaze inward, noticing thoughts without immediately reacting, and observing desires without chasing them blindly. It asks one to see the stories they tell themselves, the belief that they are bound by fate, that luck determines success, or that outside forces have the ultimate authority. These stories, though subtle, are powerful. They shape choices, emotions, and perceptions, often without conscious recognition. Once they are noticed, the mind begins to shift and the search for external answers loses urgency because the inner guidance becomes clear. The year 2026, according to the forgotten script, will make this process more apparent. People will feel uncertainty, change and turbulence, and the temptation to seek answers outside themselves will increase. Lists, signs and predictions may appear convincing, offering the illusion of security. But the real guidance lies in observing one's reactions to these situations. How do you respond when plans fail? When relationships shift, when personal habits are challenged? These questions cannot be answered by horoscopes or charts. They require mindful presence. When one cultivates this inner awareness, the external world becomes a teacher rather than a master. Challenges cease to feel like punishments and blessings cease to feel like luck. Both are mirrors showing the state of consciousness. For instance, a seemingly unlucky event may reveal hidden attachments, while a favorable moment may illuminate one's capacity for generosity, patience, or understanding. By stopping the search for external validation, one begins to navigate life with clarity, resilience, and freedom. The lesson is simple yet profound. The mind that seeks outside first is distracted. The mind that observes within is awake. 2026 will expose the limits of reliance on external guidance, but it will also reveal the boundless potential of self-awareness. By looking inward, by observing thoughts, emotions, and reactions, a person begins to see patterns, discern truth, and act consciously. The universe does not need to tell you what to do. It waits patiently, reflecting the choices already present in your awareness. True guidance arises not from charts or lists, but from the stillness within where clarity resides. Once discovered, it transforms life entirely, making every moment a step toward freedom rather than a reaction to fear. Challenges and blessings are both lessons. What feels like loss or gain in 2026 is actually part of your growth, removing illusions or revealing your true potential. In 2026, many will feel as if the world is pressing against them from all sides, as though forces beyond their control are shaping every moment. Some will experience events that feel like loss, as cherished plans fall apart or relationships shift in ways that were unexpected. Others may feel the tides of fortune lifting them, opportunities appearing almost effortlessly. Yet both experiences, loss and gain, are not punishments or rewards from the universe. They are reflections of what has been carried within, often unseen for a long time. What feels like loss is not an ending, it is the unveiling of what is false or unsustainable. What feels like gain is not a gift, it is the recognition of what is already present but previously overlooked. The key lies in seeing these experiences without judgment as teachers rather than obstacles. When something is removed from your life, it can feel like suffering. But suffering is only a reaction, a resistance to the natural flow of change. The removal of illusions, false beliefs about yourself, others, or the world creates space for clarity. You may have clung to identities, attachments, or expectations that no longer serve your growth. When they are stripped away, it feels like loss. Yet in that emptiness lies freedom, a chance to meet reality directly without distortion. Similarly, what seems like gain often reveals what has already been cultivated inside you: patience, wisdom, courage, or compassion. The universe does not bestow these qualities arbitrarily. They emerge naturally when inner awareness aligns with outer experience. Understanding this dynamic requires a shift in perception. It is easy to celebrate what brings comfort and to resent what brings discomfort. But comfort does not always indicate truth, and discomfort does not always indicate error. Both are signals, mirrors reflecting your internal state. When a person clings to comfort, they may remain blind to hidden lessons. When a person resists discomfort, they may prolong unnecessary suffering. Recognizing both as teachers allows one to navigate life with balance, responding with insight rather than reaction. The energies of 2026 are particularly strong because they do not tolerate avoidance. The year will present circumstances that challenge habitual patterns, reveal hidden attachments, and expose illusions of security. Some may experience sudden shifts in career, relationships, or health. Others may find opportunities appearing unexpectedly. The outcome is not determined by luck, zodiac, or fate. It is determined by the readiness of the individual to meet these moments with awareness. Those who see loss as liberation and gain as recognition will move fluidly through life. Those who cling to appearances will feel the weight of resistance. Ultimately, the purpose of this revelation is not to create fear or anxiety, but to guide awakening. Both loss and gain are expressions of life's impermanence, reminding you that nothing external can provide lasting security. Growth is found in the response, not in the event itself. By observing the nature of change without attachment or aversion, you begin to step into the true flow of existence. What 2026 reveals is that every experience, whether perceived as challenge or reward, is an opportunity to align more deeply with reality, to release illusions, and to recognize the power that has always been within. In this awareness, both loss and gain lose their ability to control you, and life becomes a mirror for awakening rather than a series of tests to endure. This year asks you to meet each moment with presence, to see clearly what is real and to respond from understanding rather than habit. It is in this way that the so-called blessings and trials of 2026 become instruments of freedom, teaching the soul to recognize truth in every unfolding circumstance. In 2026, many will feel as if the world is pressing against them from all sides, as though forces beyond their control are shaping every moment. Some will experience events that feel like loss as cherished plans fall apart or relationships shift in ways that were unexpected. Others may feel the tides of fortune lifting them, opportunities appearing almost effortlessly. Yet both experiences, loss and gain, are not punishments or rewards from the universe. They are reflections of what has been carried within, often unseen for a long time. What feels like loss is not an ending, it is the unveiling of what is false or unsustainable. What feels like gain is not a gift, it is the recognition of what is already present but previously overlooked. The key lies in seeing these experiences without judgment, as teachers rather than obstacles. When something is removed from your life, it can feel like suffering. But suffering is only a reaction, a resistance to the natural flow of change. The removal of illusions, false beliefs about yourself, others, or the world creates space for clarity. You may have clung to identities, attachments, or expectations that no longer serve your growth. When they are stripped away, it feels like loss. Yet in that emptiness lies freedom, a chance to meet reality directly without distortion. Similarly, what seems like gain often reveals what has already been cultivated inside you: patience, wisdom, courage, or compassion. The universe does not bestow these qualities arbitrarily. They emerge naturally when inner awareness aligns with outer experience. Understanding this dynamic requires a shift in perception. It is easy to celebrate what brings comfort and to resent what brings discomfort. But comfort does not always indicate truth, and discomfort does not always indicate error. Both are signals, mirrors reflecting your internal state. When a person clings to comfort, they may remain blind to hidden lessons. When a person resists discomfort, they may prolong unnecessary suffering. Recognizing both as teachers allows one to navigate life with balance, responding with insight rather than reaction. The energies of 2026 are particularly strong because they do not tolerate avoidance. The year will present circumstances that challenge habitual patterns, reveal hidden attachments, and expose illusions of security. Some may experience sudden shifts in career, relationships, or health. Others may find opportunities appearing unexpectedly. The outcome is not determined by luck, zodiac, or fate. It is determined by the readiness of the individual to meet these moments with awareness. Those who see loss as liberation and gain as recognition will move fluidly through life. Those who cling to appearances will feel the weight of resistance. Ultimately, the purpose of this revelation is not to create fear or anxiety, but to guide awakening. Both loss and gain are expressions of life's impermanence, reminding you that nothing external can provide lasting security. Growth is found in the response, not in the event itself. By observing the nature of change without attachment or aversion, you begin to step into the true flow of existence. What 2026 reveals is that every experience, whether perceived as challenge or reward, is an opportunity to align more deeply with reality, to release illusions, and to recognize the power that has always been within. In this awareness, both loss and gain lose their ability to control you, and life becomes a mirror for awakening rather than a series of tests to endure. This year asks you to meet each moment with presence, to see clearly what is real, and to respond from understanding rather than habit. It is in this way that the so-called blessings and trials of 2026 become instruments of freedom, teaching the soul to recognize truth in every unfolding circumstance. Awareness rewrites your life script. Your future is shaped not by stars but by your consciousness. When you become aware, you move beyond fear and take control of your path. The essence of 2026 is not written in events, charts, or external signs. It is written in awareness. Every individual has the capacity to shape their life not through luck, zodiac, or circumstance, but through conscious attention to the present moment. Awareness is the tool that rewrites what many call the script of destiny. When a person becomes fully awake to their own mind, emotions, and actions, they step into a power far greater than any prediction could offer. This is the lesson of the forgotten script. No outside force defines your path unless you surrender your awareness to it. Awareness begins with observation. Before acting or reacting, notice what is arising within you. Nor are they permanent. They are signals, messages from the self, guiding you to see what is unexamined. The mind is often restless, pulled by habits, attachments, or expectations. Without awareness, these forces dictate choices unconsciously. But when you observe without judgment, patterns emerge. You begin to see where you have been repeating old cycles, where reactions are automatic, and where you are capable of choosing differently. In this clarity, the power to act consciously arises naturally. 2026 will confront many with circumstances that challenge comfort and familiarity. Some of these challenges may feel external: relationships that shift, career paths that change, health or financial uncertainties that appear. Others may feel an internal surge of doubt, fear, or restlessness that cannot be ignored. The universe does not act to punish or reward, it mirrors what is already within. Those who meet these challenges with presence and mindfulness are able to respond rather than react. They move fluidly, transforming obstacles into opportunities to deepen understanding and strengthen resilience. The awakened mind sees each situation as a reflection of its own state. The act of choosing awareness over habit is revolutionary precisely because it is subtle. It does not always create immediate dramatic change in the external world, but it transforms the inner landscape. Fear loses its grip, anxiety becomes a teacher, and desire becomes discerned rather than impulsive. When you stop giving power to external signs, lists, or horoscopes, you reclaim the authority over your own life. The script of your existence is not hidden somewhere in the stars, it is created moment by moment through attention, intention, and conscious choice. True freedom comes when you no longer look to something outside to dictate your path. The Zodiac lists predictions, they are mirrors, not masters. When you awaken to this, you realize that life is a continuous interplay of perception and response. Every thought, every emotion, every action becomes a brushstroke in the painting of your experience. You no longer wait for luck, fate, or cosmic approval. Instead, you step fully into the present, creating each moment with clarity and purpose. In 2026, this lesson becomes unavoidable. The external world may bring challenges, but these are not the script, they are catalysts for awakening. The power to rewrite your life lies in awareness, the quiet observation of the mind and heart, and the willingness to act from presence rather than fear. When you embrace this, you no longer need to search for your name on any list. The list is within you, and your conscious attention writes the story that the universe reflects back. It is here in this awakened state that the true script of 2026 is revealed, not in signs, not in charts. Not in predictions, but in the clarity and freedom that come from being fully awake.